Fort Smith police are looking for the suspect in a shooting incident on Holly Street. Police say that shooting left one adult male dead and a juvenile seriously injured. Police are looking for 29-year-old Derek Lawrence Gwynn of Barling in connection to that incident. They say he left the scene on foot. He's considered to be armed and extremely dangerous. He was last seen wearing a black and red Ice Cube shirt, black jeans, and black shoes. If you know anything about where the suspect could be, you're asked to contact the Fort Smith Police Department. This is a developing story, and we'll keep you updated on our website, 5newsonline.com. And the Fort Smith Fire Department says a cleanup operation was underway along U.S. Highway 271 this afternoon. We told you that at 5 News at 6 that 25,000 gallons of sulfuric acid was released, but that number has since been estimated at 125,000 gallons. Hazmat personnel assist the situation and successfully contained the leak. Crews have initiated neutralization efforts to stabilize the product and reduce possible hazards. We'll continue monitoring the situation and have the latest updates online. Well, almost 2 weeks after LeFlore County Deputy Thomas Walker LeMay was killed in the line of duty during a shooting in Worcester, Oklahoma, his community continues to grieve and come together in his honor. A community event in downtown Poteau tonight brought people together to grieve and support his family. 5 News reporter Laura Castleman takes us to the Walker LeMay music event.
Poteau community members say this is a moment where you see community coming together to support one another during tragedy. Lifelong resident and CEO of the Poteau Chamber of Commerce, Karen Wages, says she works closely with law enforcement. That included Deputy LeMay.
Very caring. He was a father, a son, and a brother, in the law enforcement world, and he was a very highly trained tactical force. He didn't stop there.
Wages says Poteau is a close-knit community.
When something happens, we celebrate the good times, we mourn, we cry the bad times, then we come out for full support.
The event was held by the Soundscape Company and the Poteau Chamber of Commerce. Both agree the community needed this.
This is a music event, but in a way that we can come together and grieve together through that and honor his life the best way we know how. When we all come together like this, whether you know the person or not, you feel the weight and you share that same thing. And in this life, we all have just one another.
Community members gathered to listen to live music and share stories of Deputy LeMay, like Bobby Wayne, who talks of Deputy LeMay's happy attitude.
He had this big, welcoming smile on his face, and that in itself is not a big deal, but at the sheriff's office, it is kind of an odd thing because they're dealing with criminals.
In the midst of music, stories, and shared remembrance, one thing remains clear. In Poteau, Deputy LeMay's legacy will live on forever. In Poteau, covering news where you live, Laura Castleman, 5 News.
The first ever Prairie Street block party took place today in Fayetteville. Vendors lined the street with all things Fayetteville, from local vendors selling vintage and handmade clothes to local bands and artists sharing their art across 2 different stages. There was even something called an art dump where the community could come together to create a mural with donation proceeds going to the Fayetteville Independent Restaurant Association. I spoke with one of the organizers of the block party about why they wanted to host this event.
We like to throw parties, but also, we want to celebrate Fayetteville, and I'll throw it back to the days of Block Street Block Party, which, if you've been here for more than 5 years, you remember it and love it and wish it would come back. And the city's doing amazing events, but we just thought, let's throw one that's on our own.
Among the clothes and music, yoga from a local studio was offered as well. Also earlier today was the Razorback Greenway Square to Square bike ride, known as the official ride of the Razorback Greenway. The annual bike ride saw more than 1,800 riders on more than 30-mile rides, starting in Bentonville and riding through parts of Rogers, Lowell, and Springdale before finishing in Fayetteville. The Greenway is also offering a DIY ride where riders can do it wherever time allows, running throughout the end of the month.
It's a family ride. This is a great event for the community. We have riders as old as 85 riding today, and I believe as young as 7 or 8. So it's a great activity for families to come out and be able to utilize such a great amenity that's pretty exclusive in Northwest Arkansas.
If you missed today, don't worry because a fall ride is set to happen later this year on October 3rd. Spring Pickin Days wrapped up today in Washington County, bringing together more than 100 vendors at the fairgrounds for a weekend focused on shopping, music, and family fun. Organizers say the annual craft fair continues to grow, featuring everything from handmade goods and boutiques to antiques and vintage finds. Live music and activities including a petting zoo, pony rides, a Lego show, and even a live chainsaw artist helped draw families out throughout the weekend. Christy Weaver and her husband organized the event. She says they're motivated by creating a fun time for all ages.
I love getting to know the people and the smiles on the people's faces when they're listening to the music and watching the little kids get out and dance and the smiles on the face in the petting zoo. And that's what it's all about for my husband and I doing this for the community, is just getting time for families to be able to make memories and enjoy a weekend.
This year marks the second year for the Spring Festival, with Heart of the Ozarks Craft Fairs also hosting their annual fall event at the fairgrounds. The Morgan Nick Foundation gathered at Fort Chaffee this morning to help raise money and awareness about sex trafficking through a 5K run and a 1-mile walk called Everyday Heroes. The foundation was established after CEO Colleen Nick's daughter Morgan was abducted 31 years ago. Nick says the money raised at the event covers many of the things the foundation does.
We spend that money to educate children so that they're safe, so that they understand what sex trafficking looks like, what online gaming looks like, the dangers that are behind that, and how to prevent that from happening to them.
It also featured rows of posters with the faces of missing Arkansans, honoring some of those 1,600 people. The Whiskey Festival in Bentonville returned today, where spirit lovers and industry insiders got to taste over 50 whiskeys, bourbons, and scotches from around the world. Held in the historic Peel Mansion in downtown, ticket holders had access to over 50 tastings, met with master distillers and brand ambassadors. One volunteer said she loves the sense of community that the event offered.
I really just like interacting with the people. They're so much fun, and explaining the whiskeys to them in all different stories and walks of life. So my favorite part is just pouring and talking to people.
Those with the VIP experience got exclusive t-shirts, tasting glasses, and live music. And today in Fayetteville, people got a chance to tour historic homes and landmarks as part of the 20th annual Washington Elementary Tour of Homes. The self-guided tour includes several homes across the city, along with Washington Elementary itself, with all proceeds benefiting students, teachers, and school programs. The elementary school has served Fayetteville students for nearly 140 years and remains one of the district's smallest and most community-centered campuses. Principal Claire Garrett says it's a way for the community to give back in a meaningful way to the school's future.
We have amazing neighbors. Our zone encompasses Wilson Park, the historic district, all the way down to South Fayetteville on Huntsville Road. And so we have just a wide variety of students and parents. Here we have so many people that walk to school and ride their bike. It is a gathering place on the north side of our building every afternoon.
Garrett says the money raised throughout the tour has helped fund projects like a new school mural, a garden, new basketball goals, and other improvements around the historic campus.